White House announces sanctions on Russia's two biggest oil companies and condemns Moscow for refusing to end its, quote, senseless war in Ukraine. President Trump said the goal is to make all sides more willing to negotiate.
There are massive sanctions and sanctions on oil. The two biggest oil companies, among the biggest in the world, but they're Russian. They do a lot of oil. And hopefully it'll push... hopefully he'll become reasonable, and hopefully Zelensky will be reasonable too.
Hello everyone, this is Geopolitics. We're going to talk about a little bit about the sanctions which the United States has placed on Russia again. You know, Russians were told that there would be new sanctions on them, on two largest Russian oil companies. So the United States has done so. You know, Donald Trump was supposed to meet with Vladimir Putin in Budapest, but the meeting was not agreed on by Vladimir Putin. Maybe that is the reason they placed these sanctions on Russia. So let's see why. Let's see what other media, like international media, are saying about this issue and why they are sanctioning Russia and these two largest Russian oil companies. So let's see why they decide to do so right now. We're going to watch these videos.
Good conversations, and then they don't go anywhere. They just don't go anywhere. So in that sense, but no, look, he's fighting a war. He's in a war.
President Trump's announcing new sanctions against Russia and its oil industry. They're all aimed at moving President Vladimir Putin of Russia closer to the negotiating table as his illegal war against Ukraine rages on and on and on. These sanctions are against the two big Russian oil giants, Rosneft and Lukoil, following months of calls from Ukraine's leader to hit Russia harder with sanctions on its oil industry. This is a sign that President Trump is growing ever more frustrated with Vladimir Putin. The European Union also adopting a 19th package of sanctions against Russia today, banning Russian gas imports. Of course, remember, the Russians are using profits from their energy sector, oil, in order to fund the war. Canada first imposed sanctions related to Russia back in 2014. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev saying the decision by the Trump administration showed Washington was on the warpath with Ukraine. And two Ukrainian journalists were killed in a Russian drone attack in East Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky condemning the attack on social media, saying these are not accidents or mistakes, but a deliberate Russian strategy to silence Ukrainian media against Russia's war crimes. Marcus Kolga is my guest. He's a senior fellow with the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, tracking the situation closely in Ukraine. Marcus, good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me on, Todd.
Your takeaway of what President Trump is announcing, what does it mean?
Well, it may be a sign that President Trump is starting to realize that Vladimir Putin has been playing him over and over again for the past 9 months. You'll recall back in August when Donald Trump placed sanctions on Indian oil companies that were importing oil from Russia. There was a very quick, swift reaction from Vladimir Putin. It was a call to Donald Trump asking for a meeting in Alaska. That happened. There was a lot of enthusiasm from the White House, but it ended with a thud. Nothing came out of it. There was no real change at all in Vladimir Putin's behavior or his war against Ukraine. And in fact, over the past months since that meeting, we've only seen an escalation. You mentioned earlier that two Ukrainian journalists were killed in a missile attack yesterday. Kiev was largely blacked out yesterday due to the drones and missiles that were raining down upon the city. And just 2 nights ago, a kindergarten was hit by Russian missiles and drones. There were 24 casualties.